Good Friday morning, everybody. Meteorologist Greg Majewski back with you here in the North Georgia Majestic Studios with the Weather Report, exclusively for you Facebook subscribers and YouTube members here on your May the 8th, 2026. It also happens to be Free Sampler Friday, so we make this available to everybody. So please consider becoming a Facebook subscriber or YouTube members and help us on our mission to build a professional 24-hour weather channel here with some of this exclusive content. All right, let's go and get you ready for the weekend. You got Mother's Day weekend coming up. You guys ready? Ready to take care of Mom? All right, let's get going here. As you can see, we got a pretty good looking sky. We had a little fog there in Blairsville this morning. You know, not unusual to see that. It's pleasantly cool out there. You know, it is May, and to still see 40s and 50s out there in the morning is very nice. I know these won't last very long. We'll take it while we can, but definitely looking pretty cool out there. Let's go ahead and start our tour of some of the cameras across North Georgia, as we always do here this morning. I noticed that Brasstown Ball this morning was down to 36 degrees this morning. Right now, the camera's buffering right now, but I believe it is 36 degrees up there at 4,700 feet with some of those high clouds moving through the area. Lake Lanier looking very pleasant indeed. Just a very light ripple across the lake, looking pretty good. We're going to have a mix of sun and clouds today, kind of a partly sunny, mostly sunny type of afternoon we're going to see here. As you can see there in Blairsville, just a little bit of that fog there around the city square. It'll lift on out here pretty quickly. Should be setting up for a pretty good afternoon. Dahlonega, I tell you that, I posted that earlier. They had a really pretty sunrise. You see some of the high clouds blowing through that zone right now. Let's go over to Helen, Georgia. I always like that aerial shot there, looking at 47 degrees there in Helen right now. Looking pretty good there if you're planning on going to Helen for the weekend. Maybe take Mom there this weekend. UGA campus also looking nice. Again, we'll have some of that filtered sunshine look for this afternoon. Hey, how about Sky Valley? Let's go up to Sky Valley for right now up there in extreme northeast Georgia. 39 degrees up there. Again, a few clouds out there over the Gulf Coast for this morning. And again, a good start to our day. All right, let's go take a look at our satellite picture. We've got a unique situation. We've got a weak boundary that's down to our south. And we're going to have a little bit of this overrunning here. You can see some showers and thunderstorms back over here toward Texas. And the models yesterday when I was at Fox were really waffling on where this thing was going to go. The rain chances gone up this morning. They've come back down. And I think it's going to favor the southern areas here as far as the rain and showers and thunderstorms are concerned. We're going to keep a chance in the forecast for both Saturday and Sunday, but I'm not expecting a washout, okay? You might get a little wet. Have the umbrella handy just in case, but I think we're in store for a pretty decent weekend. I don't think it's going to be all that bad for our area. Let's go take a look at that current conditions out there. Looking at the map there, you see a lot of the shower activity, by the way, in South Alabama, South Georgia, probably not reaching the ground, but the stuff over toward Louisiana, this stuff is, this is obviously looking pretty intense there. But you can see I've got a lot of 40s out here. 43 up in Brasstown, Bald. It's 50 down there toward Jefferson. 52 there up there in Marietta. So a cool morning, light jacket, but it'll be pleasant this afternoon. We'll see temperatures low to mid 70s for a lot of folks today, and I think we're going to stay fairly pleasant overall. Now I'm still waiting to see if we're going to get a substantial pattern change as we go later in May. Yesterday it was kind of hitting at it. Today it's kind of backing off, a little waffling a little bit there on the long-range model. I'm going to show you that here in just a second on how that's going to break down. Now, as far as thunderstorms for the weekend, for planning purposes, I just want to show you the Storm Prediction Center outlook here for day 1, 2, and 3. So I don't have any rain in the forecast for us as far as getting in here, but you see some activity back to the west. You got slight risk over there toward Oklahoma, marginal risk down along the Gulf Coast, and going into your Saturday, down along the Gulf Coast is a marginal risk. So if you are going to the beach down there, just know you may have some strong thunderstorms down there. A little pocket of slight back over there toward Oklahoma. And then day 3 for Mother's Day, just a general thunderstorm threat over us. So no severe weather expected this weekend. Some active weather back to the west and down along the Gulf Coast. But otherwise, we're not looking bad for the weekend. All right, let's get into our model update for today. Let's go take a look at all of these. We'll start with our intermediate model. We call it the NAM, the North American model here. And we're going to kind of step you through what the radar representation is going to look like here. So watch a little timestamp there in the upper right-hand corner. You'll see what I'm talking about with these rains that are favoring a southern solution here. And the Europeans also kind of favoring this as well. But you notice we may still see a few showers that might sneak up in here as we go into your Saturday. So you're seeing that. See that where those storms are in there? Again, just plan on the possibility that there might be a shower or two around for both Saturday and also on Sunday. Again, that boundaries down there, we're getting these little overriding impulses kind of riding along in that area. And so we might get a little rain here, but it's clearly favoring areas to the south. Looks like a little more active here on Sunday afternoon on the NAM model here. But again, we'll have some sunshine, partly sunny, maybe a few showers around, but the more significant rains will be south, which is good because the worst drought in the state of Georgia obviously has been down to the south. Okay. All right, let's look at the rainfall totals. You clearly see it favors like southern Alabama, South Georgia. This is good. This is where all those wildfires have been burning down there across South Georgia. So that is a good place to see that kind of rain down that way. So get my pen turned back on here so you can see that right down there. So, but a little bit of rain here across North Georgia, not a lot, and not expecting a whole lot. You might get a quarter inch. Notice down toward Metro Atlanta, if some storm sneaks that far north, maybe a little bit more down that way. But again, not looking too bad there. All right, as far as the temperatures today, mostly in the 70s. Might see some 60s up in the mountains there for afternoon highs for your Friday afternoon, and then going into your Saturday morning. Again, comfortable, cool 50s and still low 60s, but not as cool as this morning. So tomorrow morning, probably not quite as cool as what we had for this morning. But we're going to have another morning like that. I think next week we got another front coming down there on Tuesday. So going into your Saturday afternoon, depending on the cloud covers, it's still 70s. We're looking pretty pleasant here on your Saturday afternoon. And then going into your Sunday morning, we'll start out the morning there, mostly in the 60s. So it's progressively milder through the weekend, a little more moisture. The humidity comes up a little bit. So we'll have some shower stuff to deal with for the weekend. Now let's look at the overall weather pattern here. We'll talk about this. This is the jet stream, okay? This is that river of air that kind of drives the weather systems across the country. And what we've been dealing with here has been this consistent flow coming this way, these northwesterly flow. That's been keeping our temperatures down a little bit. We've had some subtropical moisture coming on in here, and that's what we're seeing currently. So we've been constantly seeing, like here's another dip here coming down on for Tuesday. So we're been getting these cold fronts that have been diving down at us and keeping us a little bit on the cooler side. It's been a little wet as the first 10 days of May have been more like weather we should have been seeing in April. So it looks like it tries to warm up here as we head toward the 17th. That's what we were tracking yesterday, and I thought we were going to kind of see maybe a pattern flip here. But what this thing does again, there's a shot here that's off to the northeast, and then here's another one coming down this way again. So it keeps wanting to go back to that northwest flow that wants to bring it here. There's a little energy here kind of ejecting out the southwest. So we'll see if we actually get a pattern. I think we're going to warm up, but the question is, do we have another front come down a little bit later in the month? We'll wait and see on that. So as we look at our anomaly map, this kind of shows this as well. Remember, the blues and white is kind of your pressures where they're lower. The orange and reds are your higher pressure there. And as it's looping through, we're not seeing that big ridge like it was showing yesterday, kind of establishing itself across the southwest, kind of weakness that's there. So that means better opportunities, chances for rain. You see, there it is right there. We got a little bit of it for a little while. Back this up right through here. So as you can see there, going through the 17th and 18th, looks like we'll get a warm up in here, and then you get this, and then the weakness returns once again across the east as we go to the end. So again, this is a long range projection. We got to look for model continuity on this, but I think we're pretty certain here. What I'm fairly confident of is that this weakness is going to hold here in next week, where we're going to be seasonal, maybe a little bit below, and then after the 16th, 17th, and I've been saying about the middle of the month, I think we will see a warm-up. It's just a question of, is it a warm-up that's going to stay with us to the end of May, or is it going to just be a temporary kind of a fluctuating thing like you typically see heading toward late spring? All right, let's go look at your rain here. We're going to compare. You just saw the NAM model here. This is the European. You're going to see, again, it's also favoring that southern solution, not getting a lot here across North Georgia, maybe up to about Interstate 20 with its rain solution there. And going into Sunday, same thing. And it's definitely wetter on Saturday as compared to Sunday. Here comes a cold front. This will be coming in as we go into your Monday morning. So I do have a slight chance of rain there on Monday morning, not a lot, but notice it's still favoring a lot of rain here across the southern portions of Alabama and Georgia for a change. And looks like that clears on through. So it looks like Tuesday will be another cool morning, looks like here. And then we got a little weakness there coming in on Wednesday. I'm not sure if that's going to bring us anything just yet. I don't have any rain in there for right now. So, and going into next week, pretty quiet. So we got a couple of days for rain, really for the weekend, maybe Monday morning. Then going next week, looks like it's pretty much on the dry side. Now, As far as the rainfall, again, here, this is a 7-day total. This is going to the next 7 days. Notice it is clearly favoring the southern solution there. There is a little rain across North Georgia, but not a lot. So what we got as far as impact for the drought, nice. But again, we're going back into a kind of a drier weather pattern here, it looks like, as we go into May, which is not good. Again, we need consistent rain every few days if we're going to really combat the drought conditions. We will see an improvement on that map next Thursday. The one that was issued yesterday is still pretty much the same as it was the week before, maybe a little bit worse. But we won't see the impacts from the widespread rains like what's coming this week and everything else until next week. I promise you'll see some changes then. All right, now let's go ahead and take a look at the temperature anomaly. Here's another thing I want you to look at. Now, we're in May. You know we're supposed to be getting in the upper 70s, heading toward the 80s, that kind of thing. Blues and greens, that's below normal temperatures. And when I'm looking at this, just looking this for the next 2 weeks, you notice we maintain a lot of the blue and greens across the area. Now, going into the 17th, 18th, see a little warm up here. See 3, 8 degrees, 5 degrees, 6 degrees above normal here. Briefly, it comes in, but then it goes back to normal or a little below normal once again across the area. So, looks like we're not going to at least get a big heat wave building back in here. That's not looking evident there, but it looks like we're going to be fairly seasonable for the most part as we go deeper into May. So here's your Sunday temperatures here, a little bit warmer than Saturdays here on the European model, showing upper 70s, right around 80 degrees there on your Sunday. Going into your Monday morning, we're going to be tracking that front. Remember, we got a front coming down on Monday, so we're going to be watching that. All right, that'll be coming Monday morning. And then your Monday afternoon highs here, showing cool at 60s, 70s once again. And it looks like Tuesday morning, I think we're going to see Tuesday morning probably similar readings to what we're seeing out there this morning. A lot of 40s and some 50s out there once again, below normal temperatures once again on Tuesday morning. And then we'll see Tuesday afternoon highs here. Look at this. Look at this. This is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Temperatures here in the 60s. That's unreal to see that here on May the 12th. That's very unusual. So going into your Wednesday morning, another cool morning, but not as cool, when mostly in the 50s there. Wednesday afternoon, we start to rebound just a little bit there. And Wednesday afternoon, we're back in the 70s there. And then going into your Thursday afternoon, Thursday morning, comfortable 50s once again. So we'll see a slow warming trend here. It's still showing the afternoon 60s and 70s. So the whole next week looks fairly comfortable. Okay, it looks like we were originally looked like I thought we were going to warm up, but it's kind of backed off that. So it looks like we're going to be seasonable, maybe a little bit below normal for most of next week, but we are definitely going to be drier. So as we look at our climate outlook here, you notice here, this is basically your 6 to 10 day outlook, which takes you through from the 13th to the 17th. We're seasonable. When you see it just white, that means you're kind of where you're supposed to be. This is obviously warm. Here's a cool spot here. Now, the only thing that might change will be their 8 to 14 day. They were going with a big warm up here because that's what the models yesterday were kind of trending toward. Now they've kind of backed off that. We'll see what the afternoon runs do today. But going with above normal temperatures. Now, this is a little concerning here. Obviously, we got the dry spot in here, and I've noticed this on the models as well. It's like, oh, great. Back to dry weather again. We want to see some green on that map, and it doesn't look like we're going to see a whole heck of a lot of that here for the next 2 weeks. So the widespread rains we got, that might be the best we get here for a little while once again. So I don't believe our drought is over by any stretch. If anything, it may worsen. Now, somebody had asked me about this super El Nino, which, by the way, there's no such thing. It is a strong El Nino, weak El Nino. That's how it's the media is locked on to super El Nino. We're expecting a strong one. And what we'll have to watch for this year is what does the big subtropical jet, where's this thing set up? Usually you get a strong one. Now, that's bad news for tropical activity because it tends to shear tropical activity apart. But it also may bring some additional moisture. But it depends on where it sets up. I mean, really, we can be wetter and get some more moisture in here and stuff, but we can also be drier too. So it can be one extreme to the other. It really has to depend on how things develop here into the summer. I'm kind of leaning more toward the drier one right now just because we've been in drought and it's so hard to break that once that's been established for right now. So anyway, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Again, not expecting too much as far as a washout weekend here. We're looking pretty decent here. Let me see if this is updated. There's your forecast here through the weekend. Again, only 30% chance for showers and thunderstorms Saturday and Sunday. But if you are traveling for the south, into South Georgia, higher rain chances down that way. I got us back down to 50 in Gainesville. So we'll have widespread 40s once again on Tuesday morning for a lot of North Georgia. and pleasant temperatures, really not bad. This is a great time of year here across North Georgia. Again, I appreciate you guys checking us out. I'm going down to pick up my father. I've had him down in Florida for the last couple of weeks, picking him up later today. I'm staying the night down there to have dinner with my mom for Mother's Day, and maybe have breakfast tomorrow with them, and then I'll drive back tomorrow afternoon. So I won't have as many postings here late this afternoon. Well, I'll have automatic stuff, but tomorrow I definitely won't be posting as much as I'll be driving back from Florida. So you guys have a great and safe day. And again, if you're not a subscriber here on Facebook to become a patron, it's $1.99. It's not that much. It really helps us out. Again, we collectively can build this thing together, and you could be a part ownership of this. Think of it that way, okay? And over on YouTube, make sure you guys can do, you got 2 different levels of membership you can do there as well. All right, that's it. You guys take it easy. Be good, stay safe, and we will see you on Monday. You guys have a great and safe weekend. Bye-bye.